music.
I don't
No.
either. It's
As ambient music goes, it's not bad.
yeah, it's kind of got a little beat to it.
Yeah,
Once it finds its beat,
little right.
you know what today is? Mutants and Masterminds Monday, or Mumamo.
Mhm.
People are giving
It was
me the
almost
business.
Mumathu.
Mumathu. What was with that?
So,
Gesundheit.
thank you. Friends, thank you for joining us. The team now, AJ, good to see you, my friend. The team is giving me the business because it said Mumathu on Mutants and Masterminds Monday, because I might as well just tell you that this coming Thursday, we are finally going to be releasing the very lengthy conversation that I had with one of our pals, who will be going into great detail on their character. It'll be the drafting table, and that's coming up as a Mumathu, and I crossed the streams. And so,
It's actually
Mary
kinda great
Mumamo.
that-
Oh, sorry, what was that, Steve?
It's actually kind of great that the drafting table has math in the name. So
There
or
you
the
go.
abbreviation.
Yeah, exactly. A good M&M Monday to you, Sean Vieira. Apuk is here. Let's see. We've got Calvin, who says, Mary Mumamo. Claude says, is about that time. In a minute, we're going to talk about some other stuff, and I can't do, what is her name? Her name is, she's the popular, oh, shoot. Help me out here, Claude. Who are we talking about? In a minute, I'm going to need a sentimental, anyway, we'll get into it. Lizzo, thank you. Yeah, it's Lizzo.
Wow, I would have not gotten that.
I
See.
would not have either.
I'm hip. I'm
only 37% that bitch.
I love it. Sean Vieira says, looking forward to today's topic as I'm a user of Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, and Foundry. No, Fantasy Grounds is my favorite. I even create stuff for the Fantasy Grounds Forge. Yoda Gene, good to see you. Mumamo 2, Electric Boothulu. Sure. Better watch says, good evening, everyone. So, listen, it's Mumamo.
I can't get Mutants and Masterminds out of my head now.
Masterminds? Mutants and Masterminds. Yes, because we were all so good at math, as established on prior
I'm actually
episodes.
surprised no one has made that pun before.
Yeah, I've never seen it. So
It does remind me of the old Marvel villain, mathematician.
Oh, so yeah, a villain I've had to contend with my entire life. So you've heard the voices. Today is our virtual tabletop episode, and we've got a very special guest. We've got Stephen Jonesy Jones, and why don't we do this? Because there's nothing better on a live stream than to have actual live faces. Hello, my friends. Good to see you. How about we take this future pop down a little bit and we say, welcome to Jonesy. So glad that you are here. We've got so much to talk about. Many VTT questions. What was the bet? We talked about how long it would take for someone to mention Foundry. It literally was the first comment we got.
Oh, Alex wins.
That's what I said. I win the Deadpool.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, all questions to be answered. But first, Jonesy, welcome. Let's do a little introduction. Tell us about you. Tell us about what you're doing, and then let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. My name is Jonesy, Stephen Jones. I usually go by Jonesy because there are lots of other Steves. It's just easier that way. I longtime supporter of Green Ronin, run demo games and stuff like that. And a few months back, just before Gen Con, I joined the team as the new Virtual Tabletop Product Manager. So,
absolutely. And so you coordinate across. So I just want to give you, we'll look at the Roll20 first, because I think that it is illustrative of the work that you contend with. It is not just Mutants and Masterminds, though you are a passionate Mutants and Masterminds supporter and fan from the jump. But let's take a look at this. This is what's in our Roll20 marketplace. It is significant.
Mm-hmm.
It is a significant library that crosses multiple titles. So you see, we've got some Expanse, Death and Freeport. We've got, of course, Mutants Masterminds, which is what this show is all about. Fantasy Age. It's a lot.
We've got
But there's-
Nether War after we did our Nether War show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should have asked this earlier. Do we have a release today?
No, not today.
No worries. And so this is a lot of stuff. When we look at Mutants and Masterminds, we'll start with the Roll20 stuff, and then we'll get into some of the other pieces because there are other pieces to discuss. But what's in the future for what are we looking at as far as cadence and opportunities and all that good stuff as you kind of prognosticate what's happening in the VTT space?
Well, so as far as what's upcoming and cadence and stuff, cadence really depends on why I am the product manager. I am not the only person. I have several freelancers that help me out and team members that help me out. The biggest one for Mutants Masterminds is Apuk. He does a lot of the heavy lifting for us on Mutants Masterminds. For VTT. So shout out to him. Right now, we're focusing on some astonishing adventures that are upcoming and getting the last couple that caught up that we haven't gotten out yet. And then we did recently release the Heroes Handbook Archetype Pack to try to make it easier for players to jump in. We released a quick start for free on Roll20 so that players can try it out. And as far as that goes, we are hoping to have more archetype packs come out soon. I know the next one that we're looking at doing is for Hero High.
Let's back up real quick and talk about the Heroes Handbook Archetype Collection. I love this. So it's got 20 characters ready to use. It's got so they're assembled from pages of the Deluxe Heroes Handbook, 35 tokens. So the characters are set at PL10. They have 150 power points. This is great. This is phenomenal. And so the idea here is to create an easier onboarding for people to kind of dive in. You want to talk a little bit more about the archetype sort of collections and what we're looking at in the future?
Sure. Yeah. So the archetype pack right now is this is one assembled out of the Heroes Handbook. The Heroes Handbook itself, the PDF and the physical book have I think like 13, 14 different archetypes, and then a couple of them have variations. Like there's a psychic and there's a psychic mind controller. So for those that have major variations, we did both versions of them, so they're ready to go. And
nice.
you literally can just add this, grab an adventure, and go. They both are add-ons to your campaign, so you just add them in, and literally all the player would have to do is select the one they want, make a copy of it, give them their personal lightning storm or whatever their name is going to be. Add the couple complications, and they're ready to go. And you can run it right out of the box. GMs can use them as ready to go villains, especially good for, hey, I need a couple lieutenant level villains for my villain, for my big bad, or I need a random encounter for the
nice
of the adventure. We did tokens for all of them, and then we did several extra tokens so that you had some variation, so that you can. So a lot of we did extra tokens so that for like the battle suit and the psychic,
cool,
and stuff like that.
Very cool. And so what the beauty of this is that it all sort of works very nicely in a mathematical kind of way with the character sheet, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He's like, what was that question? It had the word math in it.
Right. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. So it blends nicely, and people will have the opportunity to not spend as much time going, what was the math on that, and what I got to do, and here's my skill set and all that kind of good stuff, which I like. Claude says the Hero High revised archetypes are solid. It'll be cool to have them. I love that. Now, when we're looking at, let's see, Jason Karam asked a question. When you buy a rule book or something from you guys on Roll20, are you getting a copy that can only be used there, or do you get a PDF too or something?
I think that's a good opportunity to talk about the differences in presentation between our
Yes.
PDFs and our products on Roll20.
That's absolutely right.
So currently the Roll20 compendiums, as they're called, are very much programmed into the system. They're designed to function and do a bunch of the bad stuff, and they have to tie into the character sheets, and there's a lot of boring database and spreadsheet stuff that has to go into building those. And currently, we don't have a compendium up for Mutants Masterminds yet, because there's a lot of heavy lifting in the back end that needs to get done first. And our team is, I believe the phrase was small but mighty was used.
That's right. Small but mighty. Exactly.
So right now if you have the PDF and you're running on Roll20, they recently did a feature for Roll20 where you can load your PDF into Roll20. So let's say you bought the Basic Heroes handbook off of Green Ronin store or Drive-Thru RPG, and you're running a game and you want it handy for you and your players at the table, you can load that into your Roll20 experience, and then add the archetype packs, and then that's all tied in with the character sheets automatically and stuff like that. So
Crafts01, you did not miss the convo about Foundry.
Ding, another one.
Another one, exactly. We laugh.
I'm keeping track.
We laugh only because, as our friend RC says, Foundry users are a passionate bunch.
Indeed.
And maybe this is the time to sort of talk about that because of the nature, because of what it takes to build in the Mutants and Masterminds stuff into Roll20. It's not like you can just take it and roll it over to another VTT, right?
No. Their setup and the backends are very different. Not in a bad way, in a good way. It's just they're different, and they're very much built very differently. So you can't just copy paste or port over anything from one to the other. So it would have to be built from the ground up. And currently, we our Foundry expert on the team is currently not available due to other stuff, and so we have lots of Foundry work we'd like to do, but we also small but mighty, and just
that's right
bandwidth right now.
And the thing to know is that we have signed contracts with Foundry. We are ready to move on that. We even have some product on Foundry, the Expanse, but we are it's in the plan, it's in the works, but because the small but mighty team is focusing on getting lots of great content up on Roll20, it while it isn't a one-to-one transfer, you are learning a lot of stuff and have learned a lot about sort of the whole pipeline, right?
Oh yeah. So to the end, there's a lot of pieces and parts that go into this that I have to do. That it's, such as coordinating, who's available, which of the team members are available, who's got bandwidth to take on what, when is the due dates, handoffs, passes, there's usually a couple of different team members will look at any given product, from someone building something, someone and doing an editing pass or a linking pass or things like that. So, and then there's like tokens and artwork that has to get added in and things like that. So.
That's right.
Jonesy has to wait for me to hand him finished documents.
right. And always the question of arts and all of that stuff as well. And the one thing that people may not know is that when, as an organization working with, like for instance, Foundry or with Roll20, there's some copyright, some trademark, some stuff that that technologies that don't necessarily afford itself to a transfer, to just a straight rollover. And Sean, your note being, there's a ton of learning and a ton of process and a ton of bookmarking future talent to be able to contribute to the project that we can transfer back and forth. That expertise is really great. Now, here's a question that I don't know whether we have an answer for, but would you ever support third-party M&M stuff on Roll20 like Misfit Studios' line of M&M products? So for third-party publishers that want to release VTT stuff.
Yeah, if there's a third-party publisher that wants to do it, and just like if they can release stuff on Drive-Thru RPG, they'd be able to release stuff on Roll20. If they wanted to, they had questions about how to do that or something like that, they can always get a hold of me, and I can point them in the right direction and maybe give them pointers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And folks who are interested in that kind of thing and want to get more information and connect with Jonesy, you can send a note to letsplay@greenronin.com and we'll make that connection for you. But yeah, so would we ever support? The answer is absolutely. So send a note and we'll make that connection. Apook says, rights and licenses, who cares about that boring stuff? Lawyers.
The entire gaming community for the last
the entire game industry.
2 months nonstop.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Brian Scott Bailey says, yes, love Rogue and Watchguard.
Two good examples of third-party publishers who are doing some cool, who have done some cool stuff.
Now, RC asks the question, has there been any thought of getting the Quick Start character generator as a VTT tool?
Yes, there has been some thought. It is, there's some back-end stuff that has to be updated first. That would need to be done to support it. But yeah, it's been thought of.
Yeah, that involves a lot more. That involves a lot more coding than getting a lot of our content up on VTT, though, just because the quick start generator does stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think we'd have to get the compendium in at least so we could drag stuff onto the character sheet and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I want to actually address that real quick. So when we look at that sort of back end stuff, the compendium, it is vital, and it's something on the docket as far as getting that up and running in the Roll20 space. But it is it's a big task, right?
Oh, a huge task. And Roll20 is working on some updates in the back end that they're hoping to release sometime soon that will make that a little easier. I know that's something they've actively talked about to us, developers and stuff. But I just don't know the timetables because they've got a lot of other stuff on their plate as well. So, but it still requires some heavy lifting. And the gentleman who did work on Richard, who worked on our M&M sheet, is currently not available to do updates for us.
In high demand.
It's
a great talent and did some wonderful work on the M&M sheet. A real quick question. So RC had mentioned in response to our +4 initiative bonus question is the character sheet is accessible in that way by third-party publishers, right? Like if they wanted to publish stuff, they can hook into that.
Oh, yeah.
Freely. Yeah. So we don't prevent that. And actually it's kind of what's beautiful about the Roll20 environment, right?
Yeah, I would highly recommend that they do use our character sheet. That way it's, whenever they can have that stuff plop into any game. Like if they're running Nether War and they want to add some base rules or NPCs from Watchguard or something, then they want to do some sort of multiverse crossover.
I love it. I love that. And then RC is working on some third-party contribution called Lawyers and License Holders. Riveting.
I don't want to play that game anymore.
No, right.
That game plays you.
I feel like there's enough XP in that game already.
So my question for the chat, as we, knowing that we're working on Foundry stuff, that the track has been laid and we're moving into the future with that as a marquee consideration on the task list. Have you other questions about that? Feel free to drop it in the chat. We want to exhaust you of any concern that you may have. So do please share your thoughts and questions about that. But Foundry is a big one, and people love Foundry. But we also have others as well, right? Where can we sort of say what is our VTT footprint across?
Yeah. So right now we're heavily supporting Roll20 directly. We do have some work on Foundry, which is the Expanse, and then also over on Fantasy Grounds. The Fantasy Ground team has done Mutants Masterminds, some Freeport stuff, and a few other items for us. And they're actually working on some other stuff that I don't think they've announced yet, but I will let out a little secret that they are actively working on some new stuff. So I don't know timetables for that yet, but they have been working with me about what's next. So.
Love it. And here you go. And we'll make sure to drop that link as well so that folks can head on over there and check that out. There are RC's got a question. Let's see. Pope says, I'm still a barbarian in lawyers and licensed holders. We just had to rename that the defendant class. Funny. There's your link to Fantasy Grounds. And then, of course, we've got the marketplace for 1 second. Roll20. We're just going to give you the whole link to our marketplace store so you can see all the stuff that we had to offer. Now, a question that we have, are there any VTT, this is from RC, are there any VTT plans or bundles for the Astonishing Adventures Assembled? How are we handling that?
So when Astonishing Adventures comes out, we will be releasing it when it comes out in PDF and in print. We'll be also releasing it on Roll20. And right now our approach is to do it as a bundle. So if you picked up one of the adventures already, you're not having to duplicate it on Roll20.
Nice. Fantastic. Now, Apug mentions this, and I think it's an important understanding of the sort of the way that Roll20 works. And he states that right now, entirely new compendiums can only be constructed by the Roll20 dev team, but the new tools coming out this year should make it possible for creators to build them. So yeah, we're kind of in that spot. Of course, Roll20 being a tremendously engaging and one of our favorite partners to work with. These are all pieces of the puzzle that are important to kind of take note of. Where's the link to Troy's spicy subscription site, Only Disembodied Voices? It's all here. It's all here.
Right. Look forward to Troy's ASMR, podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
Dial 1-900 free Ronin.
There you go. Absolutely. Or you can just send me money directly and I will call you on the phone and say nonsense, to you personally for, I'll do it for $5 an hour.
Yeah, you'll pay for the hour, but you get 3. That's how every phone call I've had with Troy goes.
That's in our experience.
I feel called out. Let's see.
Folks were bringing up your friends from Sirenscape, Troy. Speaking of disembodied voices.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We do have some good sound effects and things and our friends at Sirenscape actually have Mutants and Masterminds audio and effects and such. Would that be Troy Chat GPT? You wish. AI can't help.
We fed every episode of New Memo into an AI.
Into this AI.
I do not want to see what comes out.
Why does AI want to destroy humanity now?
Right.
Making on what?
Right. Exactly. The longest villain preamble sort of, speech known to man. Let's see. Sean, let's see. By the way, I can tell you why I like FG, Fantasy Grounds, is due to the fact that I can purchase it via stream. As a Canadian, it's much cheaper than to pay US direct. Yeah. That can be very tricky, indeed. And I know that our friends in sorry, Stan. Stan says 3 hours cost $10, but you can get just 1 hour for $50. Very funny. So
currency conversion has been rough for our Canadian neighbors. We understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And our friends in Europe with the VAT and all of those things, it's utter chaos, and we try to navigate those waters as much as that we can, and we watch that stuff like a hawk so that we can be sure to adjust and shift and make it easier for people to enjoy games. Sean says, I have Stream Deck and it works great with Sirenscape. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. So looking into sort of the future, of VTT stuff. We talked a little bit about the compendium and some of the projects and things. Jonesy, do you have any other aspects that you want to kind of touch on or talk about as it relates to sort of our VTT plan?
We are looking at some of the other things, such as token packs for like Rogues Gallery and the like, which would be available for any of the VTTs. So we'll obviously drop them on Roll20 Marketplace, but we could also have those available on like the Green Ronin store. So if you use Foundry, you can just grab them and use them there, or Fantasy Grounds and like things like that. Other than that, we're looking at what else is in the pipeline and see what we can do. I'd like to, in going forward, I'd like to try to see if we can get some of the cool Patreon stuff up on VTT.
Yeah, we've done so much work over the course of the years that we've been doing the Patreon. Lots of great characters that can be transitioned very easily into VTTs. Love the sound of that. For sure.
We have a new Patreon update coming soon, right, Troy?
Today, actually. And Alex, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, just a little bit, but we did a 2E to 3E conversion for the Shadow Mutates. If you need some good fascist minions to beat up.
Yeah, fascists are always good to punch.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those will be going live today, and then that, of course, opens the door for all the rest of the things that are coming. Folks wanted the noir stuff, so that's coming as well. And then
Steve and I divided up all of the characters in noir and hero exchange, and
we're gonna get to work on them.
Hero Hemp, yearbook.
Yeah, Hero High yearbook.
Exchange students and yearbook. So Steve and I are going to get to work on that, and we'll start getting to those to you guys very soon.
Yes, indeed.
That's right, and I am actually flipping over to that right now. And 1 second, I just want to kind of show it off because it is we've done some pretty intense. Wow, that is very difficult to see, isn't it?
Patreon. There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that.
It's so weird.
It is so weird. But that is a little easier to see. I can actually make that a little bigger. But so we've nailed down the subject matter. We've got an actual play coming up in February. Love is in the Arrow. Love the sound of that. And we've got a developer chat coming up in just 2 days, right?
That's true. We sure do.
Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, which will be a lot of fun. I'm sorry, you have to be a part of the Patreon to get in on that. It is definitely something that you want to do because we have fun. It is. We do record it, but we record it to share with folks on the Patreon. We do not actually release that publicly. We kind of let our hair down a little bit in those conversations.
Mutants Masterminds after dark.
That's right. That's exactly right. But we're
I
doing
might share some of the schedule we came up with some stuff hidden because we can't talk about some of that stuff. But
true. Right.
Might share sort of what Steve and I are up to this year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Phenomenal, Alex. Having taken a look at it, you have done incredible work kind of mapping out what this year will look like. That'll translate into some phenomenal content, some great surprises that are coming up, and also some really good stuff for Patreon. So love that, and folks are going to want to get in on that for sure. So we're doing 12 developer chats, and we've decided to alternate actual plays. We'll be starting in February, and let's see. Oh, here we go. Here are the heroes. So we've talked about the heroes, the villains. These are the stat blocks that are on their way. Of course, the what did you say it was? The Shadow Syndicate?
Shadow Mutates. The
Shadow Mutates. Yeah. That's not even on the schedule. So there's a bonus, for our Patreon pals.
Yeah. We thought we had already posted those, but we hadn't.
They slipped through the cracks, but I tracked them down because somebody asked about it on Facebook.
They're sneaky.
I do pay attention to the Mutants Masterminds Facebook, so if you put stuff over there,
you do.
I'll see it.
you are paying attention to the Facebook, you're paying attention to YouTube, you're paying attention to Twitter, like you're there. You're in all of the places. So
I started
that
out like those people, and I want to make sure that they know that the game is here for them.
love that. Absolutely. Let's see. Nathan says, fantastic. Getting M&M Patreon emails is always an uptick to the day. Love in the air. Claude says, love is in the arrow. Sounds amazing. Claude, you would say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be fun. I still have Arrow Squatch written down in my notes, so brace yourself.
Arrow Squatch. Yes. Yeah, so this is an interesting question. Claude asks, will we get Whatever Happened To for those hero high characters?
That's something Steve and I could talk about.
Alex and I will talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. On the docket for consideration, but a good question nonetheless. Yeah. So here's my question. Let's make the case for why VTTs. Like some folks, I was looking at some of the comments in our chat, and for those of you watching on demand, you're going to definitely want to pull the chat up because that's where the magic happens. But we have a question from, or really a comment from David Bodie, who says, I haven't taken the plunge into VTT yet, just played a little bit with Owl Bear Rodeo, which doesn't have modules, just maps and tokens. Why VTT? Why should folks engage in VTT, in virtual tabletop play? There's a lot of people I think might be a little resistant, but go for it.
I will say, speaking as somebody who is very dubious about the whole VTT notion, that my experience during the pandemic actually turned me around on the notion of doing VTT. I used to think VTT was really, just sort of a disruption of the tabletop gaming experience. But having been forced to use VTT, I've actually come to enjoy a lot of aspects of it. And in addition to the fact that the ability to just throw up, handouts and notes and maps and all those other sorts of things up on the virtual tabletop for the players to say, okay, the room looks like this, or this character looks like that, and the like, amongst other things, you really can't beat both the commute, to your game. And, it's really great in terms of just being able to get together. VTT has allowed me to do more gaming in terms of with my Green Ronin coworkers, with friends who are scattered across the country, with people who are, not going to be able to get together in my dining room to sit around a table and play a game. And I think that's really pretty great.
I mean, Steve, I will come to your dining room if you'll have me.
Sure. Yeah, me too. Yeah, let's all go.
I'm just saying, Alex, it's a drive.
It's fine. I'm from Ohio. I'll drive anywhere.
To get out of Ohio.
Yeah. My mom was like, it's a 10-hour drive. That's better than a fight. That is the kind of life I had growing up. Jonesy, do you have anything to add about VTT?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from my personal experience, I started using VTTs to stream, basically. I love sitting around the table and rolling dice and hanging out with friends and eating nachos. Don't get me wrong, I love playing at the table. I love running games at conventions. But the opportunity to how do I get more people to know about M&M is actually where it started from. And like someone was like, hey, I want to do a stream on M&M because there's not enough M&M streams. And so I was like, I'm in. And so that's how I started doing it. And my big thing is I love it because I'm now out in the far west, out in California, and I have friends and family back in Ohio and across the country. And I've actually got to play with my best friend from high school again. And I don't get to do that normally because, it's a drive. It's more than 2 hours from where I live to Ohio. So, so that's how I ended up starting with the VTT. And I love some of the aspects of it, like being able to add cool sound effects and stuff like that. And even if you are playing in person, you can still use the virtual table for, throw the cool map up on the TV behind you or whatever. If you want to do cool maps and stuff like that, and you don't want to, clutter the table with, make room for all the nachos and stuff. So.
Yeah, Hanover Fist brings up some really critical, so
yes, I like this.
Yeah, me as well. And the idea that there are people with social anxiety or they have disabilities, there are it amplifies your accessibility for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition, Hanover also mentions things like music and sounds and effects and
Mm-hmm.
animations and
Yep.
and we build some of that into our features as well. And so, and the other piece as well is that we're while many of our social mechanisms out in the real world, the face-to-face stuff, seem to be embracing a the pandemic is over kind of thing, the reality is there are people with compromised immune systems or people who just don't want to deal with that. Um,
Yep.
Removing that tension and giving you. Also, the other thing I love is that it bookmarks where you left off. Like your character sheet's there. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to like,
Yep.
where did I put my paper? What did I do with my stuff?
Right. All
It's
your
all
notes are there. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The other piece as well is because of the burgeoning virtual tabletop space, the innovations and the additions and the improvements really they're pretty remarkable. There's some great things coming
Yeah.
that make it a lot of fun. Add some elements that feel maybe sort of like, with dynamic lighting and sort of, almost adding some video game elements, but it doesn't take away that tabletop feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
like that.
It's also a great place to learn new games. Actually, I started playing M&M on.
Yeah.
It wasn't a VTT because that wasn't the thing at the time, but it was like a virtual chat room that had shared handouts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the other thing as well is that a person can, as a player, join in and have a good time and not have to drop a bunch of money
Mm-hmm.
on learning a new title or engaging in or playing sort of quick starts and that kind of stuff. And so
Yeah.
a lot of great pluses. The only when I'm thinking of sort of things to be concerned about, it can be a bit tricky when you are doing you're doing stuff in Roll20, but maybe you're doing a broadcast, and so you've got audio and stuff that happens,
Be a
on
lot
the
to
Roll20.
juggle.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. But it's manageable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
There is something about being around a table with people and being able to feed off of their social energy, but
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know. I always miss my Roll20 tools when I sit down at a real table.
Well, and that's
There's-
the interesting sort of new frontier of VTT too, is how a lot of VTT is finding its way onto the tabletop. With Wi-Fi and laptops and mobile devices and flat screens and things like that. People are getting more and more use out of their VTT tools at the table. Like Jonesy said, if you've got a flat screen on the wall of your game room, you can just throw your VTT map up there for everybody to look at. People can still access their character sheets on laptops and mobile devices, all of that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And if one player has to be, is not available to drive to the game that day, they can still join. So if 3/4 of the team is at the table and that one person's calling in remote, they can still participate.
Yeah, true.
And that's actually a bonus I hadn't really thought about. It can augment that around the table feeling. Here's the reality. VTT is not meant to replace that people around a table having a good time. But there are so many benefits and so much, there's so many ways to amplify the storytelling elements. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Because I was the same. I was definitely one of those folks who were like, this just feels like unnecessary, complication. But it really fits nicely into just the entire experience. Let's see. I'm reading the chat, and there are lots of great conversations. But a couple questions. One of them is Claude says there are still not enough M&M streams. We're working on that for sure. It's definitely I love the fact that there are more to choose from. People are definitely engaging that, and we love it. But if you're out there and you're thinking, I want to do a stream, let us know because we will hook you up. We'll have some fun. We'll even there have been folks in very recent history who have asked for maybe having an Alex or Steve as a guest. You've appeared on streams. We love to support folks. In addition, I will say this. I'll share this as kind of a 2023 announcement. But folks who are streaming Mutants and Mastermind stuff, we are going to be setting up a program where we will give you an early look at new things to come. And that is our way of thanking you for, I wish we were in an industry where we're just like, all of these millions of dollars here, we will support your stream and you can just be a streamer for the rest of your life, on our dime. Unfortunately, that is not the industry we work in. But
if I ever win the lottery.
That's right. That's right. You heard it first. When Alex wins the lottery, everybody listening, we will pay for your career in streaming Mutants and Masterminds. But we can give you early looks at stuff. Maybe even, to a degree that you can prepare some streaming and some other things and be on the vanguard of sharing new content. And so that's something that we're working on. And a little bit of a surprise for some of our current streamers. You're on that list already, so buckle up.
And I've been streaming M&M for a long time, so please, if you have any questions, if you need any advice, please let me know. I'm always happy to consult. If you're just getting started, or if you don't know how to start, just send a message to letsplay@greenronin.com, and Troy will get it over to me.
I absolutely will, 100%. And please also feel free. There are often times that folks will send a note to Let's Play, and they're great questions, and we'll answer them, and we'll get resources and the things that you need. But don't be afraid to ask questions in our on our YouTube or via Twitter. We're paying attention to that stuff, and I will tell you, 10 times out of 10, the question that you're asking is one that 5 other people are waiting for an answer for as well. They just didn't know to ask.
Roll hit die, you never bug me. You ask me questions, but you never bug me.
Never a bother. Always a pleasure. Absolutely. So, yeah, M&M streamers unite. But Alexander says, I do stream, but Fantasy Age and Dragon Age.
Dragon Age, I imagine.
Dragon. Yeah. Let me tell you, friend, Alexander, send me a note to letsplay@greenronin.com because I will put you on the list for that as well, and we'll make sure that we get
Fantasy Age stuff in the works.
Yes. That is absolutely right. We are days away, literally days away. If I had 25 or so fingers, don't quote me on that. Maybe not 25 days, but something around that. We will. But yeah, Alexander, it would be my pleasure to make sure that you get early looks at some of that content. Also, a good time to mention that this is. Aaron, I'm sorry. I want to address this. Aaron says, let's not forget podcasts as well as streams. All the same to me. They are right there alongside our friends who do video. So if you've got a podcast, you're doing some stuff, let me know because I want to add you to that list, and we want to make sure that you're getting early looks at good stuff, and also maybe some things that are not available to the average hero. Send a note, and we will hook you up for sure. Pope says, you hear that, RC? We're equals.
Honestly, the amount of times somebody comes on our stream and says, is there an audio only version of this? I would say the podcasts are doing much better than the video streams.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, the problem, the great advantage of podcasts is you can listen to them while you're doing something else.
True. And we come up under listenable on YouTube. That is one of the things that happen. And so, and who knows, maybe we will create a audio only version of this. It takes a little bit of work, but not that much. I think it's something we could probably do. Let's see. That's right. Hanover Fist says a lot of people listen to them in their car. Exactly. Or take little listens as they're, dealing with their daily duties, so to speak. Aura Non says Troy's unreleased Super Squatch team available to elite streamer guys.
We don't want to scare the streamers off.
Who are we going to commission to do the art for the Squatch team?
I think I've got it under control. Maybe. I mean, I could just.
Squad.
Oh no! I think that we should make Hal sit in on that call.
How very dare! But yeah, I'm looking right now for I mean, the art that I have created to me feels quite I don't know. I think that the
Savory?
idea is inspired.
Pook, I'm dead.
What is this? An arcade game? What? That is amazing. What kind of look at the work that's been done here. That's of course.
That's some real sophistication.
That's some tremendous sophistication. But yeah, I do enjoy that visual.
Oh, Aura, you're right. Who squatches the Squatchman?
Who squatches the Squatchman in the Savory 6? Another one for the bingo card. Right? Seems like, please, you're killing me. What? I'm looking at the time, and we only have 10 minutes left. And let's see. Oh, Sean says, hey, talking audiobooks. If Green Ronin does an audio version of their fiction, I would be interested. You know, Sean, there's something about the Seans. When they say something like that, when they're Sean powers combined, it is very tempting. You often have your finger right on the pulse of, but that's something that's good to know.
We have one audiobook out for Green Ronin. Yeah, Shadow Tide for Blu-ray. Blu-ray
Nice.
Shadow Tide is available as an audiobook, and it's really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because I like soup.
Who do we know who does the reading?
I don't know the narrator's name, unfortunately, off the top of my head.
I am looking right now. Yep, it's up on audible.com. Now, why do I feel like I remember there being a... Oh, here we go. I see it in the store. And I will drop that for those folks who are waiting for, more audiobooks. Do please, there's the link for you.
And especially if you haven't checked out Shadow Tide yet, it's a great book.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like Shadow Tide.
Indeed it is, yeah. And I do love a audiobook. It is it's just great. So check that out at the link that we've dropped in the chat. And you will not be disappointed, and duly noted on looking forward to more audiobooks and fiction. Gene asks, will there be more fiction books out soon?
We have 2 in process right now, and we're anticipating that they'll be out sometime in Q2.
Yeah.
The Doom that came to San Francisco and
the other one.
Oh my gosh, it's and the oh my gosh,
Lost and Never Found.
That's it. Thank you.
Both of them are Eminem novels.
Yes,
I love it. For some reason, Hanover Fist, I love it. The Squeam. I think that's the Sasquatch team, but Squeam just has it's got a bad mouth feel.
Squeam is the motion I make when I hear that.
Right. Yeah. And let's also never mention mouthfeel in relation to Gravy Squatch ever again.
I love it.
I was watching a cooking show on Netflix the other day, and the guy mentioned how he used to drink a cup of gravy during Thanksgiving out of a mug, and I almost died in my chair.
All right, that is, yeah.
I got pale. My wife was like, "Are you gonna die?"
Claude says, "Not for the squeamish." Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, and Alex, for folks who are just tuning in for the first time, you may not realize why Alex has such an aversion to gravy, and it's because basically, Alex, you were taught as a child that you were just wringing out the chicken in making the gravy, which is,
gravy's made the same way orange juice is made, except with chickens and not oranges.
That is cruel. That is cruel and gross. So there you go. A little Moomamo factoid.
My adult human brain knows better, but the little child that lives in my heart.
No,
that's right. Upsetting, nonetheless.
That's some childhood trauma right there, my friend.
it's because of his time being gravy boarded. No, but that is a horrible thought and a visual that is just mean. And I feel like you are working against Gravy Squatchapook, and I will not stand for it.
That's going in my hell book. That's going right in the middle of my hell book.
Right. Hey, listen, friends. Moo Mammo is a weekly program. We come to you every single Monday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and we get to sit around and talk hero stuff. We get to talk about the future. We get to share news with you. We get to take your good ideas and pass them off as our own. We also get to have fun around this wonderful hobby of tabletop role play gaming. And, we know that the community has been rocked to its core. But we're here. We are continuing forward with glee, and very fortunate that when we look at all of the tumult and all of the sort of struggle and friction going on in the community, Mutants Masterminds is a safe entity. Alex, you want to talk a little bit about kind of that notion and how it sort of juxtaposes against any sort of OGL nonsense?
Yeah, so I know everybody wants to talk about the OGL, but I talked about this the last time we were on, but just to reiterate, Mutants Masterminds is safe. We are going to continue to exist in some form or another. We are working on a plan, and when we know the plan, we will let everybody else know.
That's right. Yeah. But the key piece there, we're good. It's all good.
Steve and I have so many things we have to write. We're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
That's right. That is exactly right.
They do, because there's stuff I want to play. So
That's right. Yeah.
My schedule came with a grindstone. It's for everybody's face.
That sounds painful. So lots of good stuff coming. The VTT space is growing and evolving with all kinds of technology, and we're right in the thick of it thanks to Jonesy's work. Jonesy, anything else you'd like to share related to VTT? Encourage people to sort of, how should they keep tabs on things?
As far as other things, we're actively working on a ton of stuff. As far as there is the Green Ronin age-appropriate Discord. So I haunt that a lot. So there's a Roll20 channel for that and VTT channels for that. Always feel free to pop in over there. I sometimes poke stuff over in there, kind of get feedback. This is user feedback is critical for VTTs. We are hard at work at some upcoming non-M&M stuff in the works. Some fantasy age stuff, some 5th season stuff, some Cthulhu stuff.
Your dance card is full, but yet you still manage to engage in the hobby. You are a prolific streamer. You are engaged in that. You've got something going on tonight, right?
I do. Normally Monday nights, me and the crew over at USP run Mutants Masterminds, but Alex is taking a couple of weeks off to prep for our next big campaign. So in the meantime, I'm going to be running a mini campaign for Fantasy Age. I'll be previewing Fantasy Age 2nd Edition, which is coming out in February for pre-order and on PDF. And tonight, we kick that off tonight in a little over an hour. And the players will be playing animal companions and familiars who are on a quest to go save their two-legged friends and allies because shenanigans.
Shenanigans, I love it. That is all phenomenal stuff. We've also got, and I would be remiss if I didn't share this information. Not necessarily related to Mutants Masterminds, but it's big. We have 18 hours and some odd seconds before we launch the 5th season crowdfunder on BackerKit. And you can sign up. You can see my email there. I'm already signed up. But look, 3,015 people already signed up. You can too. What happens when you sign up, you're going to get we're going to just email you a link. You can download the quick start tomorrow in just a handful of hours. Get over there, get involved. You're going to want to be some of the first notified when
And
when that page goes live, and we've all been scrambling behind the scenes to get that.
I gotta tell you, the quick start is, because we're a little bit overachieving. The quick start for a season is 45 pages long, so it's a comprehensive product that you're gonna get right off the bat.
That's right. Yeah, there's some Roll20 stuff involved with that as well. Right, Jonesy?
Yep. The quick start will also be available on Roll20 this week, and it will be just like the quick start for the PDF. It will be free.
Yeah.
Nice. You will see something floating. Now, everybody here, I'm certain, is subscribed to the YouTube channel. You're subscribed to and you're following our work on Facebook or on what's that other place? It's called Twitch. And you're doing all that because you want to be the first to know when we do live streams. I will tell you that 3 o'clock tomorrow, we are doing a live stream for the 5th season. We will have people, writers who have contributed. We will have all kinds of insider looks and information, answering questions and all that good stuff. So take a look at that when it comes around. You'll see that later this afternoon. But tomorrow, 3 p.m., right Pacific. In the midst. Yeah, 3 p.m. Pacific. Thank you. Yeah, 3 p.m. Pacific. And looking forward, we'll have Hiromi will be on there, the developer for the 5th season, and there's just a lot of great stuff to talk about.
Yes.
So that being said, Steve, do you have anything you want to share before we close up?
Well, we hit on it. I'm looking forward to the launch for 5th season tomorrow, and folks getting their hands on the quick start and getting a chance to really start to dig into some of the stuff we've been working on for such a long while to get out there.
Right on. Alex, how about you? Any updates for our friends?
I am hard at work on book number 2 of my Titan City trilogy, the first trilogy.
Yes.
That's hopefully going to come out in May. I just commissioned the cover artist for the second book, so I'm excited to see that. And when I do come back to streaming on February 20th, we will be starting a brand new Mutants Masterminds campaign that I am calling Freedom League Dark and the Multiverse of the Master Mage, which our magical superheroes are going to have to tangle with their once ally, Adrian Eldritch, as he goes to the multiverse doing something shady. So, Steve, I'm going to have to talk to you about Eldritch's.
Is he going to be stealing keys throughout the multiverse?
Mm-hmm. Just from heroes that need them.
Right.
Doctor Strange is going to be so mad.
Right.
Now,
Doctor Strange and Dr. Faye are going to be so mad that their teas are gone.
Right.
And I'm about to share a link, untoldstoriesproject.com. Is that a great place to kind of get all of the depth and breadth of all the good stuff? So check that out. Oranon says, I can't believe Adrian Eldritch is selling NFTs. Check all that good stuff out. Stay tuned to all the great things we've got planned. I'm telling you, it is coming up. Green Ronin everywhere. We've got great stuff happening. We've got lots of fun and lots of live streams coming. So stay tuned for that. Now, I want to say this for those of you who have hung out. I know some folks are dropping off because they're like, okay, great, they're done. You're going to want to tune in to this Thursday's Thursday.
Yes.
Because there's big news. And I mean, it's big news. I tend to lean into some hyperbole. That is my nature. I understand that. It is what some might say why I'm paid to do these things, but I'm not joking. Tune in next Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here in this very same place. We just kind of swap out some of the skin suits and reorganize the overlay, but we will have none other than founder and CEO Chris Pramus, who will join us to share some important details. So literally come hang out, and it's going to be of interest anywhere you are. So, our Moo Mamo crew, you'll want to come over as well. With that being said, I think we're done.
Also, come to the dev chat on Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. Say that again, Steve.
Everybody's on mute.
Say that one more time, Steve.
I said, and if you're not signed up for the Patreon, sign up for the Patreon and then come to the dev chat.
Get on over there, patreon.com/mutants masterminds, to get in on the fun. You don't want to miss it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen. Jonesy, you were a phenomenal guest. Thank you for coming on and sharing VTT stuff. An absolute delight.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Hi, everybody.